Hey everyone, so I wanted to show you a very easy way to master your tracks at home with very simple tools, getting them ready to play in clubs. Now this, in my view, does not replace in any way professional mastering. You need to have a special set of skills for mastering to be done perfectly. But this at least helps you to do kind of a test run, and you can get your tracks from your studio to the club, play them over the weekend, see the reaction, and then you can come back and tweak them, finalize them. And once you've got them ready, then you can send them to a proper mastering engineer or mastering studio. So I've got a track here loaded. It's just a demo track, but I'm going to show you how I do it. It works really good for me. I play out my tracks this way, and it works really great for me in the club. So first I'm just going to add a meter here so I can check on the levels how we're doing. The first thing I'm going to do is load up the wonderful Izotope Ozone 9. Now I have Ozone 10 as well. My friends at Izotope were very kind to send it to me. But I'm very used to Ozone 9. I use it all the time. And so for this, I'm just going to be using version 9 for now. So once you've loaded it, we're going to use the assistant. First of all, you need to locate some of the loudest parts in the track. So for example, here, here, here. And we're going to play that sections to the assistant so that it can measure some of the highest peaks in the track. So I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna activate the assistant. I'm gonna CD and high intensity, and then go next, and then Izotope is now listening to the track. So I'm just gonna play for it. The assistant's gonna analyze it, and then it's gonna give us a result, and then we're gonna move from there. Okay, so the assistant's done the analysis. You can see here what it's done on this list. I'm going to accept that, and then I'm going to go through them one by one and add some little bits and bobs. So first of all, this is a curve that's created on the first EQ. This is just a normal EQ, and then it has a dynamic EQ. So if I play it, you'll see the frequencies changing in real time. It hasn't detected any problems with dynamics, which means that the mix is probably quite a good one. So we're good with that. And then there's obviously a maximizer. Now, one step that I like to add is I add an imager, because I like in my tracks, I like a little bit more width in them. So if this is the spectrum here, I'm going to put some locators where these sliders are going to be assigned to the frequencies below 4.2, sorry, above 4.2, and then between 990 and 4.2, and so on. Obviously we want to keep the bass as it is, or you can even mono it more. It really depends on your taste, but I'm going to widen a little bit the tops and the top mids, just a tiny bit. It's very subtle, but you can actually hear the difference if I compare on and off. Check this out. It's just a little bit wider. It's also a little bit more toppy. And like I said, it's just a question of preferences, but this is kind of what works for me. And then, oh, there's one step that I skipped. Once I put the imager, I've moved it before the maximizer, so that the maximizer has the final the last step on the chain. So there we go. That's pretty much where you want to be. Obviously, I mean, you can go through it and listen to bits and bobs and listen to where there are breaks and stuff, and see if the maximizer is not kicking in too hard. But I'm just gonna give it a little bit more of what the assistant's given me. I just want to listen and check that it's not being too harsh on it. So I felt that was a bit harsh. I'm just gonna bring it back because I'm gonna do one last step after this. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that. Again, I'm doing this very quickly. I would normally kind of go through different parts of the track and stuff. But then there's gonna be one final step, and I'm gonna add a limiter. In this case, I love using the Fat Filter L2, and I'm just going to add a couple of more dBs just to give it that final punch. I'm not a big fan of making tracks super loud. I like them to be a bit more dynamic, but at the same time, you know, this will probably get rid of a couple of more slight peaks and just give it a bit more oomph. So I normally put about 1.5 dBs more, and let's listen to this result. You can see up here this red little waveform is forming. You can see what is limiting, or why it's been limited. It seems to be just to pick the peaks of the kick drums or the kick and bass. So I'm cool with that. I'm just gonna have another listen and do some final adjustments. Okay, that sounds great to me. And then the very last step is I'm just gonna make sure that the final mix does not have any, does not peak. So I'm gonna bring it down to -0.3. Voila. And there you go. That is how I master tracks before I play them in the clubs. Very simple. In studio, without a lot of gear, without any hardware or anything like that, just a couple of plugins, and obviously you gotta have a good ear for this, and you ought to know what you want. There you go. I hope this helped you, and thanks to the guys at Izotope, thanks to my buddies for sending me all the plugins. I really enjoy them, and obviously go and check them out. There's a really good function here that allows you to listen to the master, to all the processing of the track, but without a difference in gain. It's quite hard to actually monitor this, and this plugin from Izotope, it just does it so simple. So if you go here to gain match, and then you play the track and bypass it, you'll hear what with and without processing, but it will level out both versions so that you can actually hear what's happening without becoming a lot more louder or not. Let's have a listen. So when you bypass it, you can hear everything is a bit thinner, and it's lacking a bit of character. But luckily, the very simple process that the assistant did for us just gave it a bit more of that punch. And so there you have it. From there, we can just go and bounce it out. You can bounce it out whichever resolution that you prefer. In the past, it used to be 60-bit just because the CDs used to take that resolution maximum, but nowadays you can even do 24-bit and 48Ks. So really up to you. In my personal view, there's very little difference, and you have to have a super incredibly trained ear to be able to hear the difference. But there you go. Some people just like to have it at the best resolution possible, and that's fair play. So that's it. It's ready to bounce it down. I normally bounce it out on real time. I don't like the offline. I like to hear the bounce. I like to make sure that everything in the track is sounding good, especially when mixing down with a bunch of different tracks. Sometimes Logic can be a bit fiddly, and some things don't play well, or some automation doesn't work where it has to work. But yeah, it's that simple. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helped you, and you can master your own tracks at home. Very simple, with a couple of plugins, and play them out in clubs. Alrighty, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.